Okay, it's time to get out of the library area. Junpei grabbed the key card.
I'm betting this sucker opens the exit. Come on, let's go.
Oh. Zero, zero. God damn it. Zero's just screwing with us, isn't he? Alright, let's just swipe the card. Junpei, look, it's unlocked. Yeah. Now we can go back to the library. Hurry up, Junpei, we don't have time. Let's go. Alright, let's do it. So, the interesting thing here, I just got an achievement for that. The door opened and they stumbled into the library. Is what June's actual identity is. And what Junpei's actual identity is. It's just... it's all a bit confusing. I mean, there's a chance, right, that Santa did experience what he said he did, and Seven did experience what he said he did, but because of this morphogenetic field, they might have been able to save her by sending their thoughts back in time. So maybe they sent their thoughts back and they managed to save her, but he still has the memory of her death and still wants revenge for it because he knows that that's what he intended to do. Ace, that is. Yeah. I think I think Junpei's identity is definitely a worrying factor. But we also know about the... well, no, I don't know. It's the thing that's bothering me is that Santa and Carney were both on the gigantic, right? So they weren't the ones who were linked, right? The one that was linked with either of them was the one in Nevada where Clover was. So could Junpei have been the one who was linked to Carney then? And we've just forgotten in a similar manner too.
Huh. I think the shaking stopped.
It would seem so, but we are yet to be out of danger.
You're right. Let's hurry.
They ran across the hallway.
This exit needs the Uranus card too.
Straight for the large metal door. We must have a ton of key cards in our pockets by now. Next to the door was the Uranus card reader.
Hey, Junpei.
Yeah, I know.
They slid the key card through and the door rumbled open.
All right, it's open. Let's go.
Out of the library and into the hallway they ran. At the end of the hallway was a door. Junpei reached into his pocket and pulled out the key as soon as he ran toward it.
Okay, Neptune key. Let's see if you work.
He turned it.
Yes! I think it unlocked.
The lock clicked. As one, they shoved the door open and poured through. Now we're outside the incinerator. In front of them was another great metal door. Above it was a metal plaque.
It says incinerator. So this is the incinerator.
That is the one hilarious thing I do find about this game, is that everything needs to be said like 3, 4, 5 times. Incinerator. So this is the incinerator. That sign must implicate that this is the incinerator.
This is the first time I've seen it from this side, but yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Oh, maybe it isn't.
Then there ought to be a lever near the door.
A lever for what? What are you talking about? A lever for what? What's in this room? It's such a mystery.
Yeah, right here.
Junpei ran up to it.
Pull that and the door should open.
Got it.
As he spoke, he pulled the lever. The motor in the door groaned as it slowly ground open. There was no time to waste.
Let's go.
As soon as the door had opened far enough to admit them, all four dashed through. Then suddenly, there before them were the four who they'd parted from earlier. Ace and Lotus stood in front of the number 9 door. Oh no. Santa was curled into a ball against the wall of the incinerator, holding his stomach. Ace must have realised who he was a while ago. And then there was June. She sat slumped against the wall, exhausted.
What the hell is going on?
Junpei ran toward June. He skidded to a stop in front of her and knelt down.
What's wrong? Are you okay?
Her face was pale and her lips dry. When she spoke, he could barely hear her.
Jumpy, you came to get me.
Of course I did. I made a promise.
I'm so glad you're here. So glad.
She mumbled the same words over and over weakly. Junpei could feel his heart breaking.
Hey, what happened to you?
I'm fine. I just fainted. I wasn't feeling very good. I'm feeling a lot better now, though.
Are you sure?
Yes. I just need to rest a little longer. I'm sure I'll be fine. You shouldn't worry about me.
She was looking towards Santa. Junpei turned to look as well.
Santa.
Santa grimaced, his face contorted in pain. Seven grabbed him by the collar and roared at him.
Hey, where is it? Where's the gun? You hide it somewhere?
Despite himself, a grunt of pain escaped Santa's lips as Seven shook him.
Don't have it. I got sucker punched and they took the gun.
They?
What? Who took it?
What? Isn't that obvious?
Yeah, come on.
I took the gun.
Yeah, obviously. Come on. A glitch
Ace.
in the Matrix. Here we go. He did indeed have the revolver in his hand. It was pressed against Lotus's temple. Ace had her pinned to him with the other arm and she was shaking visibly. Her fiery attitude was gone, replaced by fear. She didn't dare speak. There was sweat on her forehead, and when her eyes weren't flickering up to the gun pressed against it, they seemed to desperately want to say something.
Just what the hell do you think you're doing, Ace? Or maybe I ought to say Gentaro Hongo, CEO of Cradle Pharmaceuticals?
Seven, don't give it up, man. Just giving away any sort of intellectual leverage that we had. Seven's deep baritone rumble shook the walls. Ace sneered.
You have me at a disadvantage, and I don't like that.
Yeah, so how many of us are there now here? So there's 7 of us here. So he's outnumbered 7-1. He's only got 6 bullets.
You know me, but I don't know you.
But he also has a knife, so...
Do you have any idea how much I've suffered?
Oh, come on.
Can you even begin to understand my pain?
Shut up.
The pain of prosopagnosia, right?
Junpei's voice was casual. Or at least he was trying to be.
Another irritating insect. And how do you know that?
Good question.
Junpei couldn't say, he just knew. Another unexplainable mystery.
No matter. If you don't want to answer, it makes no difference to me.
Another unexplainable mystery.
This is a waste of time anyway. It's time for me to go.
Behind Ace, Junpei could see the red. It was placed in the small indentation on the wall. Quickly, Ace placed his hand on the scanner.
First is 1.
Yeah,
Give
we
me
get
your
it, mate.
hand.
It beeped and he forced Lotus's hand onto it as well.
8. And with this,
And at last, he reached into the pocket of his jacket, he pulled something out and pressed it against the panel. The third asterisk appeared on the red.
9.
The thing he had used for the final verification was the bracelet with the number 9.
The 9th man. Kubota's bracelet.
I believe I've won this game.
His smirk made Junpei's blood boil.
I've had quite a time playing with you. I must thank Zero, I suppose.
Wait, what? Ace doesn't know who Zero is.
Junpei's eyes flicked towards Santa. He hadn't moved since they'd entered the room. Santa was still holding his stomach and groaning as if in immense pain. Did he get... No, there'd be blood if he was stabbed at this point. Junpei wasn't sure if it was real pain. But he wasn't sure it wasn't either.
What the hell are you planning, Santa?
Yeah.
At any rate, this game ends now. I will escape, and the rest of you will have a slightly less pleasant ending.
I've had plenty of less pleasant endings, pal.
I suggest you enjoy your final moments.
Okay, thanks. Thanks for the advice.
Goodbye. Wait!
Ace, of course, paid no heed to Seven's request and laid hold of the lever on the red. With a sickening sense of finality, he pulled it. Has it been rigged?
What? Why isn't it opening? One more time.
Yeah, it must. I mean, Santa's probably reprogrammed it, right? Lotus tried to take advantage of Ace's confusion and managed to twist herself out of his grasp, but... The last second, he grabbed hold of her wrist and shoved it onto the red.
Now open!
He waved the number 9 bracelet over the red and then his own as well. Sorry, I got interrupted by fireworks. Like really loud fireworks. He pulled the lever a second time.
No! What is this? Why? That digital root should be 9! It has to be 9!
9, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9!
Then why? Why isn't it opening?
I mean, I imagine Santa will have rigged this so that Ace just literally can't escape. Ace's fury and confusion had overridden all other thoughts. He had set down the revolver. He was just below the red.
Now!
Seven chose that moment to act. He moved far faster than a man of his bulk should have been able to, and he launched that bulk straight at Ace. He's got the knife, though. Oh! Sure, you can! It was over before they knew it.
No!
Oh! In the blink of an eye, Ace was on the floor. He rolled onto his side, groaning in pain.
Oh.
Lotus ran straight for Junpei. She darted around behind him and stuck her head out, making sure to keep Junpei between herself and Ace. Thanks, human shield.
Oh, that was close. Too close. Thank you, Seven.
I mean, Lotus ran straight for us.
Don't mention it.
Seven stood over Ace, his breathing slow and heavy. He's got the knife, dude. Get the gun.
Just one punch ain't enough for this piece of shit. After what he did 9 years ago, I ought to rip him to pieces.
He's got a knife.
But if a suspect can't talk, they ain't much good. Once he's locked up in a cell, we're gonna have a little chat. 9 years ago? Then you must be... Yeah, you finally figured it out, dumbass.
Dude, someone pick up the gun. Seriously.
Oh.
Ace planted his hands on the floor and shook his head. Junpei walked toward him. Dude, he's got a knife! He stopped and looked down at Ace with pity on his face.
Ace, you killed Kubota, Nijisaki, and Musashido, didn't you?
Wait, Nijisaki?
He peered at Junpei, genuinely confused.
Oh, right. You don't know yet. All right. We'll just go through them in order then.
Oh, dude, just before you reveal your not evil plan or story here, pick up the gun and then preferably shoot him in both kneecaps.
Let's start off with Kubota. You talked to Kubota and managed to convince him to go into door 5 alone. You killed him without making it look like you killed him. The way I figure it, you had 4 motives.
And also, my guess is that Ace and Kubota were the only two that had real bombs inside them.
1. In the Nonary game, the number 9 is dangerous. Whoever had the 9 bracelet could join whatever team they wanted. Adding 9 to any number doesn't change the digital route. Which means that number 9 could do whatever they wanted. You wanted to remove that threat as soon as possible. 2. You wanted the number 9 bracelet for yourself, so that you could make use of its power. In fact, you did use it in the murder of Nijisaki. 3. Even if his number hadn't been 9, Kubota was a problem. He knew your past. He knew what had happened 9 years before. You needed to silence him before he told anyone. 4. But last, and perhaps the most disturbing, you used Kubota as a test. You wanted to know how serious this Nonary game was. Was it truly life or death, or simply a harmless prank? You convinced him to break the rules so you could see what would happen. That was why you killed Kubota. But he was only the first. Next was Nijisaki. While everyone was off looking for the missing parts for the Reds, you ran into Nijisaki near the big hospital room. However, because of your prosopagnosia, you didn't realize he was Nijisaki, chiefly because, when you met him, he was dressed like Snake. That was why you thought Nijisaki was Snake.
No, that's not... That was Nijisaki? Why? How did...
I'll get to that. Anyway, you thought he was Snake. Snake was one of the kids in your experiment 9 years ago. You remembered him because he was the blind kid, but his presence made you think. Snake was one of my subjects 9 years ago. He probably hates me. But if that's true, why isn't he saying anything? Is he keeping quiet because he can't see? Or perhaps he's working with Zero to get revenge on me. Whatever the reason, anyone who knows my past is a threat. Before he tries anything, I need to get rid of him. That was when you decided you had to kill him. The murder weapon was Kubota's bracelet. You just waved it over the Red. Verified your own number and then grabbed Nijisaki's arm and forced it over the scanner panel. Then, when the door opened, you kicked him in. 9 seconds later, the door closed. And then 81 seconds passed. And poor Nijisaki was dead.
And you mean to say... Snake is still alive?
Sorry to disappoint you, but I'm as good as new. Thank you for killing the wrong man, but I can't say I like knowing that you wanted me dead. Although, to be honest, even if you hadn't tried to kill me, I would still hate you very much.
Well, I wouldn't blame you.
Ace's self-division was frustrating, but Junpei kept his emotions in check and continued.
Last but not least, let's talk about Musashido's death. When Clover and I were investigating the chart room, you came over to talk to me. Do you remember what you said?
Oh, a pocket watch. Might I take a look at it?
I handed it to you, and you left the room. You had been in charge of the Nonary project. Of course you would have known the solution to every puzzle.
Did he say that?
Which would mean that you also knew how to get out of the wheelhouse. All you had to do was place the watch in the indentation on the door to unlock it. With the door open, you could enter the captain's quarters. Musashido was there. Conveniently placed next to him was an axe that practically begged you to kill him with it. You picked up that axe and buried the blade deep in the other man's chest. One blow was all it took, and then you returned to the chart room as if nothing had happened.
There was something I wanted to speak with you about, Junpei. Could you come with me for a moment?
I had no reason to say no, so I followed you to the wheelhouse. When we stepped inside, remember how you slipped your hand into my vest? You pulled out a piece of paper, the one I used to cheat during the vote. But that wasn't really what you were after. Your true purpose had been to slip the watch into my pocket. It wasn't a very good plan. Had way too many holes, and someone saying the wrong thing could have brought it all down around you. You must have been desperate. But what made you willing to risk it all to do it? Ace,
That was the only thing Junpei hadn't been able to figure out.
Musashido's murder is the only one I don't understand. You obviously did it. But why?
Because of this.
Slowly, Ace reached down and pulled something out of his pocket. It was a folded piece of paper.
What's with the paper?
Just read it.
Junpei took it and opened it.
Let's see.
This was what it said.
Number 1. There are 2 ways you might survive this ordeal. The first is to win the Nonary Game. The second is for you to confess your sins of 9 years past. I have prepared a camera in the captain's quarters. The images captured by that camera will be streamed through a satellite and distributed across the world. Simply look into the camera and repent. Once you have confessed everything, I will release you from this ship. To make your confession more credible, I have left you a witness in the captain's quarters. Perhaps he will confess with you. The decision is yours. Do as you please. 0.
When I awoke in that room on D-Deck, I found that in my pocket. That was why I chose door 1 when we voted. If I went through that door, I knew I could get to the captain's quarters. As you said, I knew how to enter the wheelhouse. My plan was to find the pocket watch before anyone else. If I could, then my alibi would be set. At least, that was the plan. Unfortunately for me, you got to it first. That sleight of hand was the best I could manage on short notice.
You meant to kill him from the beginning then? Musashido, I mean.
I only knew Musashido was the witness after I reached the captain's quarters. I asked him, and he answered. He seemed groggy. Perhaps he had only just awoken from sedation. I suppose Nijisaki was in much the same state. He seemed confused and disoriented when I encountered him. But yes, you are correct. I intended to kill him from the beginning, even though I didn't know who he was. I proceeded to the captain's quarters in order to remove this so-called witness.
Ace had confessed everything. What energy he had left with him. What energy he had left him. Does that sentence make any sense? What energy he had left him with the truth. Oh, right. There should be a comma in there, I think. What energy he had, comma, left him with the truth. And he sagged to his knees. Although he had confessed, his sins were not forgiven. Junpei felt revulsion for the pathetic man on the floor near his feet. But in among the revulsion was a hint of pity. After all, Ace hadn't been the only person who murdered those 3 men. Junpei spoke quietly.
Ace, you figured it out, haven't you? You were being manipulated.
Yes, so it would seem. I was little more than a puppet, in many ways. Everywhere I went, everything was already prepared. The Reds in the large hospital room were dismantled. Nijisaki was dressed like Snake. There was an axe in the captain's quarters. Musashido was delirious from the anesthetic, so he couldn't fight back.
Yeah. I mean, he's not really been tricked, he's just been enabled, right?
Nijisaki as well. In retrospect, I can't understand how I could have fallen into such a simple trap.
Well, it's because that's his nature, right? About what we heard before about Crisis revealing who people really are.
But yes, this was a trap. It was Zero's trap. And I fell for it, hook, line, and sinker. I did everything he wanted me to do.
Yeah. By manipulating you, Zero was able to kill 3 people and keep the blood off his own hands. All of this was revenge for what happened 9 years ago. That's why this Nonary game happened. Am I right, Santa?
Junpei looked over at Santa. As Junpei spoke, he stood up, his legs still shaking.
Huh? What the hell are you talking about? I don't know any...
Ain't no point trying to play dumb anymore, Santa. Actually, I guess I should call you Aoi Kurashiki, huh?
Seven's face was sad as he spoke.
My memory came back to me, kid. You're Aoi Kurashiki, no doubt about it. Never thought I'd be back in this room talking to you. But hey, I guess this was all part of your plan, right? After all, the person who planned the Nonary game this time around was Zero.
Maybe it's June. Maybe it's Carney.
And Zero's you.
Looks like you really do have your memories back, huh?
No, right. Santa's smile was sarcastic and something else.
Well, I guess there's no point in hiding it then, huh? Yeah, you got me. I'm Aoi Kurashiki. I was one of the kids in the Nonary game 9 years ago.
But he's not admitted to being Zero.
I made it out. So did Snake over there. But there's one thing... No, I guess there's two things you got wrong. Number one, I ain't Zero.
What?
Wait, what?
Sure, I was helping Zero out, but I'm really more of an assistant, like a secretary.
Yeah, it's got to be Carney, right?
But an assistant's only an assistant. I didn't come up with all this. All I did was follow Zero's orders.
Then, if you're not Zero, who is?
Calm down there, Junpei. Didn't I say two things? You made one more mistake. Junpei, you just said, all of this was revenge for what happened 9 years ago. That's why this Nonary game happened. But that's not it. Revenge isn't the only purpose. There's another reason you guys were playing the Nonary game. To save someone.
Save someone?
Right. You were brought here to help my sister. To save Akane.
What the hell are you talking about? Akane Kurashiki died 9 years ago in this room. I was there. I saw...
Suddenly, Seven froze. His eyes went wide as dinner plates and he spun around toward June. Junpei followed his gaze.
What?
She was gone. Where June had been, there was nothing.
What the hell? Where is she? Where's Akane Kurashiki?
Seven began to mumble to himself, a strange series of words strung together as if his mind wasn't functioning properly. His face was twisted with effort, as though he were struggling with something they couldn't see. He gritted his teeth and pressed his hands against the sides of his head.
Oh, my head! My head, it feels like it's gonna pop!
Seven! What the hell is going on?
I don't know, I just... Oh! I swear to God, my head feels like it's about to explode!
From somewhere far away, they all heard a deep, heavy noise. It sounded like a tremendous wheel, slowly beginning to turn. Santa seemed to have entered an almost trance-like state. His words were calm and measured.
What was the Nonary Project? I'm sure you know already, but I'll tell you one more time. It was a project designed to test a particular phenomenon. And what was that phenomenon? For two organisms to communicate with one another in the absence of physical contact. The morphogenetic field theory. Could human beings use these invisible fields to exchange information? That was what this experiment was conducted to determine. There were two separate locations. One was the Gigantic, and the other was a building in Nevada called Building Q. The 9 children trapped in Building Q were faced with numerous puzzles, copies of identical ones on the Gigantic. They were told to send their answers into the morphic field set and transmit them to their brothers and sisters on the Gigantic.
That's what I don't get. Why him and Kane were both here.
The transmitters were put in Building Q, and the receivers were put on the Gigantic. Each sibling pair was supposed to be split up, but there was a mistake. Akane was a transmitter. She should have been in Building Q. However, for some reason, she was placed on the Gigantic with the receivers, like me. Perhaps she was mistaken for someone who was supposed to be in Group A. Whatever the case, Akane ended up on the Gigantic. I think I've told you enough. You get it, don't you? I'm pretty sure you know where this is going, Junpei.
Where what is going?
Don't play dumb. You know things you shouldn't. Things you couldn't.
Oh, right.
How did you know Ace had prosopagnosia? How did you know why Ace wanted to kill Kubota and how Nijisaki was killed? Were you surprised when you found out Ace was Hongo? And what about the coffin Snake was trapped in? How the hell did you open it?
Well, that's...
The answer to that is easy. He knew because I knew. Is that me? Junpei was receiving information that I sent to him through the morphic field set. It's simple, really. How do I know the alternate futures then? Imagine a river that splits in two like an upside down Y. The river flows from the top to the bottom from a single stream into two branches. It only flows in one direction, it can never flow backwards. Information is the same way. It moves from the past to the future but never flows backwards. That's why people at the river's source in the past will never know about those downstream in the future. But the people downstream will never know about one another either. Information only flows along the path of the river. But I'm different. I can manipulate the morphic field set to pluck knowledge from the future. I know what happens on either fork of the river, even though the people on either fork know nothing about one another. Now, who am I? I am I, the 9th letter of the alphabet. But I'm also 0. No, that's not true. I'm not really 0. Not yet. Perhaps you could say I am less than 0. 0 is my future. In 9 years, I will be 0. Okay. Where did she go? June. Dude, let me go back to the other screen. No, Akane. Where did you go?
Santa!
Why is Clover... Oh, shit.
Freeze.
Santa's got the gun. Guess he picked it up when we weren't watching. I can't switch the screens back. Looks like he's turned the tables on Ace, though. Wonder how he likes having a gun to his head.
Get up.
Sure isn't about to take the gun off him for a minute, is he? Ace isn't putting up any kind of fight. I mean, I don't think I would either. But he just looks drained. He's got that knife, though. Guess he's going for the door, huh? Doesn't need to verify to go through that door, but...
Hey, what's your plan, Santa? What are you doing?
He can't get through any numbered doors with just 2 people. What the hell is he thinking?
Didn't I tell you? I'm Santa Claus. It's time for me to go make a wish come true.
That's it? That's all he's going to give us? What the hell does that even mean? Shit, they're out. And now the gate's shut. Looks like the rest of us are stuck in here. They're all looking at me. At least Seven's headache is gone. Seems to be alright. Well, I guess there's no harm in trying. Let's see if this door's still open.
Damn! Well, it looks like this door isn't opening anytime soon.
Oh, you mean we're trapped?
So it would seem.
What the hell is Santa trying to do?
Oh my gosh!
Oh my gosh, what?
Have you considered where we are? There can really only be one thing Santa would do now.
No. No, you can't be serious.
But he is. Shit. Gotta do something. Maybe we can still get out through door 9. As the red. Yeah, alright. We can do this. I've just gotta... No, it's not gonna work. There's no way. The 5 of us can't open this door. Have we got some other bracelets? We've got the number 6 bracelet. So we could use the number 6 bracelet instead of mine. Right, the 0 bracelet that Clover's got. Is there any combination that'll work?
Junpei, can I borrow your pen and notebook?
Yeah, it'll work. Sure, why not? I don't think I'm going to need them ever again. Well, she certainly looks purposeful. Looks like she's writing equations, a lot of them. Ah man, she doesn't look very happy. Oh, hey no. No need to be ripping pages out like that. Jeez.
What the hell are you doing, Clover? Give me that!
Alright, at least 7 got it away from her. Maybe now I can get a look at what she was writing. Let's see. No Lotus.
What? And there's no other way?
Lotus. Looks like she'd figured it out though. And this is just too cruel.
It's okay. Go.
Lotus.
Haven't we got the 0 bracelet?
Come on, you know we can't do that.
Oh, don't give me that. I'm sure you'd love to get rid of me.
God damn it, you idiot!
Whoa, where the hell did that come from? Looks like she expected that about as much as I did.
Without... if you're not... Look, it'd be bad, alright?
For a cop, he sure doesn't have much confidence.
Bad?
Yeah. If there weren't assholes like you around, I'd be out of a job.
Uh-huh.
Look, I'm just not leaving you behind, alright? End of story.
7.
That could ship them.
He's right. I'm not leaving you either.
Me too.
You didn't honestly think I'd abandon you, did you?
You're all idiots.
Act as tough as you want, Lotus. We can all see you're about to cry.
That being said, however, I doubt we would be able to open the door anyway, even if we were to leave Lotus behind.
Yeah, if it didn't work for Ace.
Huh? Why?
I trust you remember what happened to Ace? I couldn't, see exactly what happened, but I was able to guess what he was attempting to do earlier at the Red.
Oh, yeah.
No! What is this? Why? The digital route should be 9! It has to be 9! Then why? Why isn't it opening?
Just to see, why don't we give it a shot?
Give it a shot.
Yes, that is what I said.
You were right.
It ain't opening.
But it did open 9 years ago. The digital route was 9 then, I'm sure of it.
You think maybe they changed the settings?
Perhaps.
Shit. If we can't get through the door, we can't get out. The walls are way too high, there's no way in hell we could get to that hole 7 popped out of 9 years ago. All we can do is stand here and stare at this door with a 9 on it. Guess this is it. This is the end. Is it? A carne vision? Oh, right, so this isn't like some sort of meta thing about being the player. I was watching a carne vision. I had watched everything that was reflected in his eyes. I was listening. Every sound that vibrated in his eardrums I heard. Smell, taste, touch. I felt everything he felt. I knew everything about him. What he was thinking, what he was feeling, what he was sensing. All of his feelings and worries and fears became mine. My mind, my consciousness was inside of him. Through the morphic field set, we were resonant and we were as one. I was him and at the same time I was an observer. It started with a tremendous noise like a clap of thunder. That was approximately 9 hours ago. A bomb had gone off on the ship we were on. That was when my resonance with him began. My resonant event melted into him and we became one inside of Junpei. Somehow I found myself in Junpei's mind 9 years in the future. But I didn't lose myself. I was living in 2 realities at once. One was the present and one was the future. Perhaps you can think of it as 2 movies showing on the same screen at the same time. Eventually it becomes difficult to separate them and determine which movie is which. However, if I concentrated, I was able to focus on one or the other. That was why I was able to grasp what was happening in front of me.
Come on, over here!
That was my brother Aoi. He was yelling. I followed him. Around me were 7 other children. They all looked like they were about my age.
Come on, hurry up!
Snake, Santa, Akane. I'm guessing that's one of Lotus's daughters. And then random children. We ran down a long straight hallway and burst into the large hospital room. Okay, so this is Akane as a child, right? Not 9 years in the future, right? 9 years in the past. Everyone was arguing. 2 of the boys got in a fist fight. A girl watching them began to cry. I want to go home, she cried. I want to go home. Another girl slapped the crying girl and glared down at her. It's been 2 hours since the Nonary game began. We were starting to fall apart. But just when all hope seemed lost, Light started talking. He was blind. 9 years later, we would call him Snake.
Hello? Everyone? Could you come over here for a moment?
He was older than most of us, and his voice had authority and dignity. The fights died down, and we gathered around him.
I have a little sister. She is very important to me. Right now, she is over in Building Q, and is desperately trying to send information over to me. Her name is Clover, and today is her 9th birthday.
Is that her actual name? As he spoke, he pulled something from his pocket. In his hand were 9 4-leaf clovers.
I was going to give these to her as a birthday present. I was outside picking them when I was abducted. I'm sure I've already told you, but I am blind. For a man who can't see, collecting 9 of a very specific plant is, well, it is difficult. But my sister means a great deal to me. And I hope that these would show her how much I cared for her. Since it's her 9th birthday, I thought 9 4-leaf clovers would be appropriate. Every one of you has a brother or a sister in Building Q with Clover. For their sake, we have to survive. We have to get off this ship. Do you understand? If we're going to do that, there are 3 things you have to remember. We need trust and love, and we have to have faith in one another. If we can take all 3 of those to heart, then I promise that good luck will come our way. Did you know that the leaves on the 4-leaf clover mean faith, trust, love, and luck? Those words are leaf words. So if you believe what I've told you, and you understand, then I want you each to have one of these. They're a promise between friends.
He gave a clover to each of us. I took one too. Eventually, he was left with only a single 4-leaf clover. He had one last thing to say.
Now, don't ever forget. So long as you have that, we will always be connected. Do you understand?
When he finished, the tension of only a few minutes before was gone. We were calm. After that, we ran around the ship for a while longer and opened several of the numbered doors until we finally found a door with the number 9 on it. In fact, there were 2 doors with 9 on them, and we found them in the chapel. We split into 2 groups and walked through the doors. Before long, we all found ourselves in a room with a ceiling that looked like an upside-down funnel. For some reason, this room had another number 9, but this time it was only the one. But if there was only one door, that meant only 5 people could escape.
What are we gonna do? There aren't any other doors!
We began to panic. Then, as if things had not gotten bad enough already,
Warning. Emergency incineration command has been acknowledged. Automatic incineration will take place in 18 minutes. Please evacuate the incinerator immediately. Repeat. Emergency incineration command.
What? What's happening? What did that thing say? That didn't sound good.
my brother Oi. Keep wanting to just call him Oi. Oi, oi. Oi, oi. My brother Oi swallowed hard and answered.
I think it means this room is gonna burn.
run!
The plaque on the door says incinerator, and that voice said that the incineration is about to start. And incinerate means to burn.
No! Help me!
Abject terror filled the room as everyone began to scream and cry. Every pair of eyes were filled with despair. Then, high up on the wall, the door opened and a man appeared. He was a huge, frightening mountain of a man, as large as a bear. 9 years later, we would call him 7.
Don't worry, kids. I'm not your enemy. I'm one of the good guys.
So, okay, so when he described this story before, it wasn't all 9 kids.
I'm a detective. I'm here to rescue you.
The rest happened just like 7 had said it did. Oh, maybe not. The 4 of us who had stayed behind were saved by 7. We crawled through the vent away from the incinerator and slid down into the hall. We came out on the other side of door 9. On the wall opposite the door was a set of double doors. We went through and began to run up the spiral stairs. As we ran, I led the way. Behind me were Nona, my brother Aoi, Snake, and 7. The other children, the ones who'd gone through door 9 before us, were up ahead. I could hear them cheering each other on. We ran and ran and ran. We leapt across as many stairs as we could and kept running. The stairs spiraled upward like a tornado. Eventually, I pulled ahead of the rest. Perhaps Nona had slowed them down. I didn't want to lose them, so I slowed down as well. I didn't stop, but I glanced over my shoulder from time to time to see if they'd caught up. That was when I realized.
Oh no, where is it? Did I drop Jumpy's present?
I knew I'd had it with me when we passed through the vent. Then, had I dropped it as we slid out? I had to go back, I had to. But I knew I couldn't tell the others. They would stop me, I was sure of that. I didn't stop to think, I simply moved. I ran to the central hall, the room that connected to all the other areas of the ship. I hid in the shadows, and moments later I felt a rush of wind as they ran past me, up the staircase. I waited until they were out of sight and then I ran. I moved as quietly as I could, down and down and down. Finally, I reached the bottom deck. I ran into the hallway and looked around frantically.
There it is!
It was just where I thought it would be, sitting under the opening of the vent. I ran over and snatched it from the floor, but as I ran back towards the stairs and freedom, Jumpy's present. The door to the incinerator opened and a man stepped out. It was Hongo. Gentaro Hongo. 9 years later, we'd call him Ace.
Ah, how wonderful to see you decided to come back.
His smile made my blood run cold. It looked mechanical, as if someone had simply pulled up the corners of his mouth.
Come with me. We must continue the experiment.
I shook my head, eyes wide. Slowly I began to walk backwards. 1 step, 2 step, 3 steps. And I spun around and broke into a run. I felt Hongo's hand close over my left wrist.
I said, come with me.
There was an edge of insanity to his voice now. Oh look, she's got the number 5 bracelet on. I pulled as hard as I could.
No! Stop! Let go of me! Let go!
I shook my body and flailed my arms, trying desperately to get Hongo to let go of me. But I was still only a child. I was no match for a man like Hongo.
Stop struggling, goddammit! Do as I tell you!
He heaved on my arm, trying to pull me into the incinerator. I screamed.
Help me! Somebody help me!
And suddenly,
Akane!
the doors to the stairs flew open, and my brother Aoi burst out of it. Behind him came 7 and Snake.
Akane!
He cried my name again as he leapt toward Hongo.
You came back!
I cried out. But then,
You're too late, idiot!
Hongo threw his full weight against my arm, pulling us both to the into the incinerator.
Ah!
The force of it threw me to the floor. I scrambled to my feet and looked toward the open number 9 door. Hongo stood between it and me, but behind him I could see my brother, his fists clenched. But those fists never reached Hongo. With the cold, heartless screech of metal on metal, the door slammed shut. Hongo glanced at me mechanically, his face registering that there was an object there. But not anything he would consider a human being. Then he turned away and walked to the red that sat next to the door. He reached into his pocket and removed 2 bracelets. He waved to them both over the scanner panel. 2 asterisks appeared on the red. Asterisks. He checked the screen, then tossed the bracelets carelessly onto the floor. What was he doing? What was the point? He made no effort to explain himself, of course. He said nothing at all and walked past me as though I were nothing more than a rock by the roadside. A few moments later... the 2 other doors slid shut as well. Faintly, I could hear someone pounding on the door behind me. I turned around and ran toward the door with the 9.
Akane! Akane! Are you okay?
I could hear a voice from the other side of the door. A worried, frightened voice.
Help me!
My throat was already raw, but I screamed as loud as I could. My voice echoed lonely around the empty room.
What should I do? I think I'm trapped in here!
Where's Hongo?
He went out the other door!
What?
Then it started again.
Warning, warning. Emergency incineration command has...
Yes, okay.
Incineration will begin in...
Junpei vision.
18 minutes. Please evacuate the incinerator immediately.
Holy shit, man, I knew what it was going to say. That's one hell of a creepy voice.
I knew it!
It's starting.
Santa started the incinerator.
Fuck! Man, I never thought I'd hear that damn voice again after 9 years.
What the hell? What the hell? What in God's name are you talking about? It's 9 years this and 9 years that, and when it's not 9 years something, then you're talking about some sort of fucking experiments. You aren't making any sense.
I'm sorry, Lotus, but we really don't have time to explain it right now. I promise. I'll tell you everything once we get out of here.
Maybe over a cup of coffee.
But...
Incineration will begin in 17 minutes.
You know what that means, right? Incinerate means burn!
God, this is all glitch in the Matrix.
What kind of idiot do you think I am? I know what incinerate means.
Well...
God damn it! Okay, fine. I won't ask anything else. Talk about whatever you want. But you have to do something for me. 7, figure this out.
She's already talking to him like it's her husband, right?
What? Why me?
Just shut up and stop this thing.
How the hell?
There has to be some sort of emergency shut-off button.
There isn't anything like that.
How the hell do you know?
Because I looked for it 9 years ago.
Yeah, Lotus isn't happy about that. Can't really blame her. Wait. The floor, it's moving. Okay. What else can I say about it, but...
What the hell is that?
What is that?
What else could I say? The floor opened and a machine rose up out of it. It looked like a computer. At least it kinda did. There was a monitor, a keyboard, and a cross-shaped device of some kind. Something about the machine scared me, but I forced myself to walk up to it. I was terrified. Tears poured down my face. I wiped them off even as more took their place and forced myself forward. Finally, I reached it. I looked at the screen. It was blank. All I saw was my own frightened face staring back at me from the glass drenched in tears. All I can see on the screen is a reflection of my own face, looking kind of freaked out. I know I'm sweating like crazy, but seeing it kind of drives it home. Okay, Junpei, just calm down, alright? Everything's gonna be okay. Yeah. Man, I wish that thing would just shut up.
Incineration will begin. 15.
Me too. Alright, back to this thing. It's only showing up now, and it's gotta be important. But what the hell am I supposed to do with it? I mean, Lotus is a hacker, right? Get her over here.
Hey, move!
Gah! Hey, we're all tense, lady. That doesn't mean you get to shove people around.
Okay, it's turned on. There's nothing on the screen, though. Oh, this is bad. This is really bad. If there's nothing on here, how are we supposed to do anything with it?
Sure, I'll just push buttons. I'm sure that'll... Huh. Well, at least it's on now. What's on the screen, though?
What is this?
What's up?
Base 10 or something, right?
It looks like some sort of puzzle.
Great! A bunch of numbers and letters scattered across a 5x5 grid. The numbers range from 1 to 8.
Do you think that if we solve this puzzle, the incinerator will stop? Yeah. Well, we can hope, right?
Mm-hmm. Alright, puzzle. How do you work? Ask it nicely. Oh man, that goddamn voice again.
Incineration will begin in 13.
Shit. 13 minutes. Can we really do this? My heart feels like it's gonna pop. My heart was pounding like it was about to explode. I stared at the puzzle on the screen. I'm sure I had to solve it somehow, but I had no idea how. My connection to Jumpy had been gone for a while. His mind was gone. I couldn't get any more information from him. I felt the seconds tick by as I stared at the screen, completely lost. My cheeks felt hot as tears poured over them. Then I heard a voice.
Hey, what are you doing?
It was muffled. I turned around. Pressed against the window in the entry door was a face. A frightening, evil face. It was Hongo. How long had he been watching me?
Oh, don't know what to do.
He was yelling, but his voice was still muffled.
It's simple, really. But I suppose I might as well tell you. Just solve the puzzle on that machine.
His laughter was muffled by the door, but it still tore at my heart like the claws of a vicious monster. I bit my lip and glared at Hongo, struggling to hold back hot tears.
You're a terrible person! I hate you!
Oh my! How could you call a gentleman such as myself a terrible person? That's not very nice. I'm quite fair. I don't use tricks or play dirty. You see? I've even left you a way out.
A way out?
Didn't you hear me? All you have to do is solve that puzzle. Do that, and you can stop the incinerator.
What's the point of stopping it? You'll only capture me and make me do this all again. I'm not going to listen to you. If you're just going to throw me back in here, I might as well just die now.
My goodness, haven't you listened to anything I've said? I told you, I'm a fair man.
Huh?
If you solve the puzzle, the verification function of the red will in turn activate. If this experiment is to deliver valid results, there must be a chance of success. If you succeed, you will escape.
The verification function of the red?
Then I remembered. Before Hongo left the room, he'd scanned 2 bracelets into the red.
Ah, so you do remember. Right now there are 2 numbers in the red. The first is 1, and the second is 3.
But she's got bracelet number 5.
Say, Akane, what's your number?
Oh yeah, sorry. I looked down at my left hand. Face on my bracelet showed a 5. I ran to the door with the 9 on it. I grabbed the red and put my hand against the scanner panel.
You really aren't one for listening, are you?
I hear Hongo's muffled voice from across the room.
I've already told you, didn't I? Once you solve the puzzle, the verification function of the red will activate. In other words, if you haven't solved the puzzle, you can't enter your number. What kind of fool are you?
Why are you doing this?
You could never understand. You don't know what it's like to spend every day surrounded by monkeys. Now start the experiment. Solve the puzzle.
I can't! I don't know how!
Of course you don't. Isn't that the point? You understand, don't you? Access the morphogenetic field and find the solution.
I can't!
Then you'll die. You'll burn alive.
Yeah.
It's gonna be quite hot in there in a few minutes. I imagine it will be very painful.
Because she's the one child who doesn't have access to it. You know. His horrible laugh echoed across the room, and even after his face disappeared from the window, I could hear it.
Incineration will begin in 10 minutes.
I was crying, great gulping sobs broken by hiccups that shook my body. I was terrified. I could feel my fear pressing down on me like a tremendous weight. Somehow I forced my shaking legs to carry me back to the device. I stared at the monitor.
I can't. I just can't. There's no way. I can't figure this out.
What was I going to do? I didn't know. I didn't know. I didn't even know where to start. Fear scattered my thoughts, and all I could think of was how I was going to die. My palms were sweating and my blood was boiling in my veins. It was hot. So hot. I couldn't breathe. I felt dizzy. My heart roared in my chest as if it would pound itself to pieces. I reached into my pocket. I wrapped my hand around the thing I'd come back to get. The doll Jumpy had given me. At least I had that. I held it tight with both hands and prayed.
Help me! Jumpy! Help me! Help me! Help me! Jumpy! Jumpy!
Christ.
Jumpy! Please! Help me!
Jumpy, do something to stop her!
Jumpy!
Oh!
Akane?
Akane?
Who the hell is Akane?
Shut up! Just shut the hell up!
Seven and Lotus don't understand. I think Clover and Snake have an idea, though. Clover's looking at me, and I think Snake may have figured it out. No, it doesn't matter. They're in my way. Where'd she go? Maybe over there?
Akane! Akane! Can you hear me? Akane! Say something!
Fuck! Did something break our connection? I swear I just heard her. Shit.
Akane! Answer me! Akane!
Jumpy?
I mean, I don't know if June is like, you know, present day June, adult June, whatever you want to call her, disappears because like her existence is in doubt. Like if we don't help her in the past, then she dies. Whereas if we help her, she'll live and she might reappear. Is something along those lines. I spun around. I heard a voice. His voice. I looked around. He wasn't in the room, of course, but I'd heard it so clearly. Like he was right there.
Jumpy!
God, stop saying that, please. I screamed as loud as I could.
Akane!
Jumpy!
Oh! That's her. She's there. And that means...
Akane! Akane!
You in the incinerator right now?
Yes, I am! How did you know?
I couldn't believe that you knew. Now I understand what Santa meant.
Right. There's only one way to help her. You were brought here to help my sister. To save Akane.
I think I get it now.
Incineration will begin in 7 minutes.
Jumpy, we don't have time!
Yeah, I know. Stop saying Jumpy. As quickly as I could, I told him that I had to solve the puzzle in order to stop the incinerator.
Got it!
And I do. I get everything now. At last, I finally understand what all of this means. I know why the Nonary Game was held today. I know why we were kidnapped and brought here. It was all for this moment. All of this was planned out to lead to this one moment. Oh my god. This is insane. I can't believe it, but there's only one possible answer. June is, 0 is, Akane Kurashiki. She created the history of the future that she had a glimpse of 9 years ago. She tried to save herself that way 9 years ago. No, she's trying to save herself right now. That means that there's only one thing for me to do. Even if this is all some sort of insane plan. I will save her. I will save Akane Kurashiki. I must save her no matter what.
Incineration will begin in 6 minutes.
The voice reminded me of how much time I had left. Is that what it did?
Jumpy!
Christ.
Yeah, I know. Just hang on, all right? I promise I'll get you out of there.
Well, get on with it then, you plank.
I'm not gonna let you die. I promise. So don't worry, all right? Just give me a few minutes, okay?
Okay.
Okay. My voice shook as I answered. It was hot in the room. I felt like my heart was on fire. Stop thinking of similes and solve the puzzle. 9 minutes or not, my heart burned with my feelings for him. Jesus. Alright, time to get to work, Junpei. Is Snake talking to them about something? Whatever, doesn't matter. Get out of my way.
Hey, what are you...
Oh,
Just trust me, okay?
Sorry, Lotus, I didn't mean to snap, but there's a lot more at stake here than your pride. I'll apologise later, alright? Now, let's have a look at this thing. We've got numbers all over this grid. I think the panels are out of order, so I'll just need to switch these out. Staring at it isn't going to accomplish anything. I'll just have to try it.
Just think of what I did all those times before. I'm gonna do this on my own,
Alright.
with my own mind.
Yes.
I'm gonna solve this problem.
Okay. Have we actually got a timer? No. So this is base 10. So the 1 is screwed in. When I pressed hint, number appears in the empty slots on the grid. They're all single digits. I get the feeling the numbers change when I switch out the yellow squares. But this square at the bottom, why does it stay blank when I press hint? Pressing the button again makes the numbers disappear. It's like I can turn them on and off. Then there's something special, meaning there being 2 modes. What could it mean? All of the empty slots. Sorry, say that again. The numbers are affected by adjacent squares. For example, when I switch out 3 and 5, the hint number increases by 2. I don't understand why this is a 6. So I need to make these blue numbers true, I guess. So like, for example, some of these are correct, like 8 and 1 equals 9. Alright, I understand. So if we start from a corner, that's probably the most useful way to do it, maybe, I'm not sure. Oh no, we should start from the 1, I guess. Yeah. The 1's already correct, so the 2 8s have to stay, because they both equal 9. So then we can fill in the others accordingly. But we've got base 10 here, so let me get my old base 10 cheat code set here. So S is 28, so we need to get rid of most of the letters, I believe. Right. So all the base 10s are useless, I think. Okay. Oh. Curious. Yeah, because 8, I can't add anything to 8 to make 4, can I? So let's just move something and see what happens. What the adjacent yellow squares add up to. So most of the answers should be 2 digits. If each square only has a single digit, they must be calculated in a different way. Digital roots. If they're digital roots, then they'll always end up as 1 digit. Okay, I don't really understand. So is that saying that 7 comes from these 3, the 5, the 1, and the S? Well, let's test it out. Let's test out a slightly easier one. 18 is 9. Right, okay, I think that's how it works. W is 32. So 32, 33. Six, yeah, 9. So I guess everything needs to equal 9. That makes sense. So we need to alter this R, perhaps. So 8 plus 3 is 11. So yeah, we need a 7. So S is 28, 28, 36, 43, 4 and 3 is 7. So I think the S needs to go here. So 15. So I should do it, right? Add the numbers. There are letters here too. Wait. I haven't used letters as numbers before. Yeah. Maybe I need to replace the letters with numbers. Oh, so I need to replace all of them. I think I've got the gist of the puzzle. I just need to make all the digital roots the same. They are all the same. But what numbers? Switching out a yellow. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Password. Password. Uh-oh. Oh gosh. What? What the hell do you want me to type? Junpei and June forever. Damn it. I can't exit. I'm inputting a password now then. Are there any hints? What the hell am I supposed to put here? Just... Maybe the hint was that in that one. That puzzle. The answer ended up being password. And after it was an extra space. The 9th square. Maybe that's the password. Alright. How do I put space? There's no space bar, dude! Well, the hidden number should be 9 as well. That means... That means what? The number after password on the puzzle screen is 9. And the password for this... Oh. 2, 4, 5, and 7.
Yes, that's it! Akane, did you get it?
Yes, I did! I solved it! I mean, really, you solved it for me, but I copied everything you did! Now I just have to press enter!
We'll do it then, Carney.
Then what the hell are you waiting for? Push it!
Okay, I will!
I hit the enter key.
Emergency shutdown command has been confirmed. Incineration system has been disabled.
Okay, so that means Carney should come back into existence in the present day. I believe.
Jumpy! It worked! It worked! The incinerator shut down! It worked!
Tears rolled down my face as I cried out to him, but they were a very different sort of tears. A wonderful feeling of accomplishment and relief flooded my body. At the same time, what strength I'd had left disappeared, and I collapsed to the floor. For a while, I just lay there, laughing and crying, and enjoying being alive. Every time I thought about him, I thought my heart would burst.
Whew.
I can't quite believe I did that. But I'm so glad. So glad. I feel like my heart's on fire. No, I don't have time to be thinking about that kind of shit. I need to tell Akane.
Akane! Sorry, but things are kind of busy over here. I'm gonna have to hang up now, okay?
Oh, of course, that's fine!
I wiped the tears from my eyes and nodded vigorously, even though I knew he couldn't see me. So the interesting thing here is, obviously we know that they spend time together, you know, in the physical time together when they're, I guess, how old would they be? I don't know, early teens, pre-teen age. So that means Carney knew that she had to keep this whole thing a secret from him the whole time, right? And I looked over at the corner of the floor. Sorry. I wiped the tears from my eyes and nodded vigorously, even though I knew he couldn't see me. Then I looked over at the corner of the floor. There were 2 There were the 2 bracelets Hongo had left behind.
Now.
Well, Seven and Lotus didn't look particularly happy with me. Not a very nice look to give someone who just saved your lives, guys.
Junpei, are you...
Okay.
Yeah.
Shut it!
Right, okay. So maybe they have a reason to be pissed off. So what if I haven't pressed the enter key yet? Alright, nothing holding me back now. Here goes. Wait.
Incineration will begin in 90 seconds.
It doesn't sound like it's stopping.
What the shit? Why isn't it stopping?
Okay, maybe I didn't hit the key hard enough. Just hit it again. And again. And again. Okay, that's not working either. The alarm's still going off. What the hell's going on? I've got all the right numbers in the right boxes. It's perfect. So why the fuck isn't this thing stopping?
Incineration will begin in 60 seconds.
Wait, of course. That's when the that's what the numbers... Hang on. That's what the numbers that showed up after the puzzle mean. Snake, Clover, me, Seven, and Lotus. Oh, right. Um, 11, 19, 26, 8. Door 9. Oh, that's it. That number on the door isn't a 9. Not even a number.
It is hidden, but an exit can be found. Seek a way out. Seek a door that...
Holy shit, of course! And we just have to put the right number into the red and...
Incineration will begin in 30 seconds.
Run, guys! Get to the door! Run!
Oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. Don't have much time. Man, I sure hope they can trust me on this one or we're all fucked. Alright, no time to explain, just go.
Quick! Verify your numbers on the red!
Verify?
Who?
What combination?
Everyone?
All of us! We all need to verify!
Why?
You really think this is a good time to ask questions? Just do it!
Hurry, 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 hurry.
Incineration will begin in 10 seconds. 9, 8,
Oh god!
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Central gate has been opened. Incineration system has been disabled.
Wow. Oh, thank fucking Christ. What's up with Junpei's language in the last, like, 10 minutes? No time to be happy, time to go.
Hurry! We've only got 9 seconds before the door closes! Go, go, go!
Come on, guys, move it. But what about Carney? She's going to reappear, dude. Okay, they're all through. Move it, Junpei. Just didn't... No, I can't believe you didn't think of this. She's going to reappear inside the damn incinerator, and it's the whole thing in a cycle again. She's still going to die here. There goes the door. No, don't calm down just yet. You're not done. We've still got to find the dead. Barney's still in there, dude.
Shit. Looks like we made it, huh?
No, it's not. Carney's in there. She has to still be in there. And that guy sure can laugh when he wants to. Looks like Clover and Lotus are totally out of energy. Snake's shaking and he's shaking his head wearily. Just want to take a nap, but...
Akane? Akane! Can you hear me?
Sorry. I want to tell her we made it. I want to tell her how good I feel. Nothing. I really feel like she would have reappeared in the incinerator room. But if she was going to reappear, she would have reappeared as soon as little Carne was safe. So maybe I'm reaching a bit there. The door opened. Standing in front of it was my brother.
Akane!
Oi!
I cried his name even though my voice was almost gone from screaming, and I leapt into his arms.
Oh, oi!
Akane!
I buried my face in his chest and cried again. I cried and cried and cried. The steady thump of his heart in my ear made me feel like I was home. His beat was almost like a lullaby. I wrapped my arms around him as far as they would go and held him as tight as I could. Just to be there felt like a miracle. I hadn't felt the warmth of another human body in what had seemed like an eternity. I just wanted to stay there in his arms forever. But I couldn't. The moment I'd passed through the door, my bracelets had begun the countdown to death. I leapt away from him and looked around. The door had already closed. I spotted the dead only a short distance away. It took me only a moment to get to and scan all the bracelets. I left the ones Hongo had dropped on the scanner panel. That was it. I took a deep breath and looked around again. The huge detective, who we'd called 7 in 9 years, and Snake, the blind boy, were looking at me. They seemed to have been utterly stunned by my sudden appearance. Their eyes were wide and their mouths hung open.
Alright, let's get out of here. If we don't book it, we might run into Hongo again.
Aoi was right. It was time we got moving. The mention of Hongo seemed to jar 7 and Snake out of their surprise, and they nodded. We took off running up the spiraling stairs to freedom. Time for more running, but if they can get us out of here, no wonder we're running so hard. My heart's beating so hard I can barely hear. God, I can't wait to breathe real air again. Huh, is 7 talking?
Hey, Junpei, can I ask you something?
What's up?
Sorry, they had to put a motion blur, didn't they? There.
That door, the one with the 9 on it. Why'd it open?
6.
Yeah, all 5 of us verified our numbers on the red. 2 plus 4 plus 5 plus 7 plus 8
right.
is 26. That makes our digital route 8. It shouldn't have opened.
That's not like you, Lotus. I thought you would have figured it out already.
Huh?
Because you were the person who taught me about the idea of bases.
Bases?
Q?
Yeah. What are the 2 numbers in base 2?
Oh, base 2.
0 and 1.
How about base 10?
That goes from 0 to 9, right?
Then how about base 16?
0 through F. After 9, it starts at A and goes from there. B, C, D, etc.
You're right. In other words, A in base 16 is 10 in base 10. B is 11, C is 12, D is 13, and so on.
So, what about it?
You don't get it? What if we keep going with that pattern?
What if you go way past base 16 all the way to base 27?
Base 27?
Yeah.
Well, the numerical digits are the same. So, I guess you'd add alphabetical digits. E is 14, F is 15, G is 16.
H is 17, I is 18, J is 19.
Thank you, detective.
K is 20, L is 21, M is 22.
N is 23, O is 24, P is 25.
Yeah, and? What comes after that?
Q.
26!
And what does that mean?
There wasn't a 9 on the door.
Oh, right. Just a poorly written Q.
It was a Q! A fucking
fucking lowercase q!
Yep, that's pretty much it.
Alright.
I guess to put it another way, you could say that it was a 9 in base 10, but a Q in base 27.
I did not work that out. Time for more running. God, my thighs are killing me. I swear any moment now I'm going to tear a muscle. I feel like every single cell in of my body is dying for air. Damn, every breath I take is a chore now. I feel like my lungs are going to burst. Maybe just a short rest. I can't stop, don't have time. Come on, got legs, there can't be many more of these steps. Yeah, please get rid of this sound effect. Let's run. Run like a bullet down a rifle barrel. Like a tornado cutting through a sea of clouds. Enough with the similes. Just run. I feel like we're running along the back of a giant coiled dragon. Finally. Stop. Oh, for God's sake. Oh, not more panting. Yeah.
Whew.
Jesus. Barely breathe. No, Junpei, no time to rest. Pull yourself together, you're almost there. I just wonder where June... I mean, there's no reason why June would necessarily reappear there, right? She might reappear somewhere else, but... what I'm presuming here is that June's entire existence has been in flux. So I'm guessing every time we've witnessed her getting ill or like woozy or whatever, it's been when we're going down a path that probably isn't going to lead to this. So she's kind of fading out of existence, which presents itself as her, you know, being quite faint and ill. But it might not be that, but that's what my guess is.
All right, I'm gonna open it.
Yeah.
Yes, we're finally here!
Please do.
Sure, you look like a big heavy door. You're the only thing standing between me and my freedom. But even more important than that, you're the only thing standing between me and Akane. You're gonna open and you're gonna open now. Don't end it there. I felt a hand on my shoulder. It was Aoi's. He gave it a small reassuring squeeze. I was so happy, I felt like I could melt. My heart was at peace. And that's only because my brother and I were back together again. Thanks to the huge detective, all 9 of us who'd been kidnapped. We're finally able to escape from the gigantic. Only on the distant horizon we could see the faint outline of the ship as it sank. Really? Okay, so that must be an alternate reality then. It gave a thunderous roar as it finally slipped beneath the waves. Its last cry echoed out across the ocean and then it was gone.
It's over.
Aoi whispered.
Yeah.
It was over. It was finally over. Or was it? Was it really? No, that was wrong. That wasn't it at all. I was sure of it. This wasn't the end. It was only the beginning. This was only a prologue to what would happen in 9 years. Yes, finally, air. Gah. Damn, that sun's bright. I can barely see anything. Huh. I gotta admit, this doesn't quite look like... Wait.
No way.
So we're not on a ship, then? You gotta be shitting me.
What?
It can't be.
This is...
We're in the desert. Yeah.
This is the building in the Nevada desert.
The mock experiment building.
Oh my god. This whole time we were in building Q.
Sure enough. That's a desert out there with mountains all around. Hello there, son. Boy, am I ever glad to see you. Well, I'm not sure how long you'll have that opinion for. I don't think I've ever been so happy to see a sunrise. Huh. Did I just hear something fall? Right, our bracelets. I guess I've never really gotten a good look at the underside of one of these. Let's see what's inside. Just a little electronic chip. Like an ATM card. That's it. There's nothing else. Nothing that even looks like a detonator. There was never a detonator to begin with. Figures.
Akane.
Jumpy!
I must be pretty crazy about the girl if I think I'm hearing her voice and hearing her voice in the wind. Really? Okay. Curious. Awesome.
Are you okay?
Oh, come on. This is nothing.
Really?
Yeah.
You don't look okay.
Just before the end of elementary school, Jumpy and I were sitting next to each other on a small hill, looking down at the town as the sun slowly set.
How does it look then?
Hello, how does it look? He was half serious and half joking. I thought about it for a minute first.
Well, let's see. It looks like you kissed a toad and got warts, but then they just kept growing and growing and growing.
That wasn't a nice way to put it.
What does that even mean?
Yeah, I'm just going to say this now. Junpei, horrible fashion sense from a young age here. We can clearly see. Junpei grinned and...
Ow, 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 ow.
See? I told you you're not okay. You're too reckless. You can't beat 5 8th graders, Jumpy. That's crazy.
Yeah, but I couldn't just stand there. I mean, don't you think so? I had to do something.
Oh, nice. Look at the Nevada desert go past. An SUV, this thing has a pretty smooth ride. Sure was nice of someone to leave it for us outside the building. Keys in the ignition and gas in the tank. Almost like it was a present, you know? Anyway, we jumped in and now here we are screaming across the desert. Lotus is over there in the passenger seat. Snake and Seven and I are all squeezed into the back. Still can't believe we let her drive. Oh.
This is so fun!
God, we're gonna die.
This is so awesome! Driving is so great when there's nothing around. And limit.
Yeah, driving with earmuffs and leg warmers on. Great idea.
Hey, Clover, watch those bumps, all right? This car jumps even a little, and I think I'm gonna get crushed to death.
Hey, shut it. I can't help if I'm big, all right? Suck it up.
Why don't you drive, Seven?
I'm a cop. I ain't gonna break the law.
He doesn't have an international license.
Yeah, but you could have sat in the passenger seat.
Oh, hell no. There's no way I'm giving this seat up. And Clover, there's no need to slow down. The car Santa and June are in should be somewhere down this road ahead of us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I saw some fresh tire tracks going out.
Hang on. Let's do a dirty, sneaky check. No way, there's still more.
There's no doubt about it.
Awesome.
Then we've got to hurry if we want to catch them, don't we?
Yeah. Okay, strange.
Sure thing.
Am I forgetting June walking out the door with Santa? Probably. Oh shit. God damn it, she doesn't have to drive so fast. Man, I didn't even think a car like this could go this fast. We're sure throwing up a lot of dust. It was a couple of hours after we'd run into the junior high students. They'd been hiding in the bushes on the back of one of the hills, drenching a kitten in gasoline. The moment we saw what they were doing, Jumpy ran up to them furious.
Hey! What the hell are you doing?
Then he jumped on them. He quickly scooped up the kitten and tossed it to me. I caught it, ran for the police station as fast as I could.
Help me! Officer, please! You have to come with me!
The policeman and I headed back to the hill. All we found was Jumpy, sprawled on the ground with a face covered in big swelling
You
lumps.
couldn't run away after you threw the kitty to me?
He stuck his tongue out through the hole in his mouth where a tooth had fallen out.
Yeah, I guess I could've...
Exactly. Most effective form of self-defense. Running away. Unless they've got a gun.
Then why didn't you?
I didn't want to. I wanted to beat him up. Beat him up real good.
Because of what they were doing to the kitty.
Yeah, that too, but I think they were the ones behind those murders our first semester. Remember?
Oh, you mean the bunnies.
Oh.
Yeah, the bunnies.
He plucked some grass from the ground and tossed it into the wind.
They asked me what elementary school I was from, so I told them. And then they said they'd do the same thing to you that they did to the rabbits. I couldn't forgive them for that, so I...
Hey, there's still some stuff I don't get.
Of course, they probably don't know any more than I do.
Like Ace. Well, I guess I should say Kentaro Hongo. Why did he create the Nonary project?
To prove the existence of the morphogenetic field.
Anybody? Any ideas?
Why don't you ask him yourself?
Oh yeah, I guess I could.
He's still in the trunk, I assume?
What? Yeah, he is. Still tied up, I'm assuming, with his mouth taped shut. His eyes just look empty, no emotion. It looks like he's just given up. I wonder if he even cares what happens to him anymore. Man, I really thought Santa was going to just ice him.
Hey, were you listening to us?
Yeah, go ahead and try to pretend you weren't, you old bastard. Let's get that tape off your mouth.
Come on, I know you were. Answer me.
You could at least look at me when I talk, man.
I only wanted to see the faces. Human faces. I thought if I could gain the ability to access the morphic field set, then perhaps I could see faces.
Yeah, sure.
By peering into people's minds, you could understand how they were processing the expressions of others.
That's it?
Yes. If you want to put it simply.
I'm sorry, but no. Bollocks.
If you are looking for a more philosophical answer, I can supply that as well. You see, the human collective consciousness...
Well, that's enough out of you, pal. Time for the tape to go back on.
All right. So what's your second question?
You said there were some things you didn't get, didn't you?
Well, somebody's a little nosy.
Well, my next question doesn't really have anything to do with you two. This is for you, Seven. It's about the whole Alice thing. What's the deal with that?
Well, see, 9 years ago, after I escaped from the Gigantic, I kept going after Hongo on my own.
catch him when he finally slipped up.
Can we just turn the car noise off, please?
During the course of my investigations, I learned a lot more about the Gigantic. I also found out about Bourdain and Alice.
You're not really answering my question. Was there actually a girl who wouldn't melt at room temperature?
Oh! Sounds like Hongo has something to say. Alright, fine, I'll let you talk, but you gotta behave.
What?
Alice doesn't exist.
Oh!
9 years ago, I found Alice's coffin behind the library on the bottom deck. There was nothing in it but the root of a peculiar plant. My research determined that it was a member of the genus Madrigola, of the family Solanaceae. I was able to extract a particular alkaloid from it. I used that extract to create Sopor. Its creation was a tremendous boon to my firm, and we grew rapidly.
Shit, this is gonna go on forever. Tape's going back on, Hongo. The rest of my questions can wait a bit. For now, I think I'll just enjoy the ride. Yes, get rid of that car noise, please.
Here, this is for you.
Oh, is it your tooth?
What's this?
This is a for you doll.
Oh.
His name is Junpei.
Junpei pulled something out of his pocket and shoved it out his arm towards me. You made her a doll? This is creepy, Junpei. In his hand was a doll made of yarn, small enough to fit in his palm.
Chumpy, are you sure it's, for you, doll?
Huh? Yeah, the lady at the shop said so, so that means it's for you, right?
Are you sure it's not a voodoo doll?
Yeah.
Wait, what? That's... Oh, man. Oh.
Well, it sure looks like a voodoo doll. I mean, you do know what a voodoo doll is used for, right?
Oh, God. Junpei. She's got you forever now.
Yeah, I guess calling it Junpei isn't a very good idea then.
No.
Why are you giving me this anyway? It just seems really sudden.
Well, you know how after June, we aren't gonna get to see each other too much? I mean, we're gonna be in different schools, and I just thought I'd,
Oh, okay, well, how about we call it June, then?
Okay. So, I wanted to give you this.
You sound like some sort of tribal chief in a bad movie.
Yes. I, head of tribe. This doll, traditional charm of tribe. So I give this. It me. So we always together.
Oh, Chumpy.
If something bad, then hold and pray. I go wherever you are. So here, take.
I reached my hand out and picked up the doll gently.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Chumpy.
That's just too nice. Just, ugh. Before I knew it, I was crying. Oh, for God's sake. Tears streamed down my face and fell onto June's tiny yarn body.
Oh, Chumpy. I'll never forget you. I promise.
Jumpy looked straight into my eyes and said just 5 words.
I'll never forget you either.
6 words. The sky was a beautiful crimson red as it melted down toward the horizon. The last golden rays of sunlight stretched out across the city and painted themselves across the hills. We sat, bathed in the warm light of evening, just the two of us, leaning gently against one another, shoulder to shoulder. The sun set, and we still didn't leave. We watched in silence as the darkness deepened, and one by one the lights of the town began to flicker on. Oh. There's still one thing I don't get. To be honest, it's the biggest mystery as far as I'm concerned, and the only one that's really important. It has to do with June and Akane. 9 years ago, she died in the incinerator on the Gigantic. But she's still alive now as June. But how? Was it because I tapped into the morphic field set and saved her 9 years ago? Alright, let's say that makes some kind of insane sense. If I did that, then How do I make sense of what 7 remembers? Snake makes sense. He's blind. He couldn't have seen her body anyway. But 7? He said he was sure he saw it. Does that mean there's some kind of historical discrepancy? Or wait, maybe that's not it at all. There is one other logical explanation. Was what you told me the truth, 7? You look satisfied. No, no way. He couldn't.
Hey, look! Over there. There's somebody next to the road.
Unless they were all part of the scheme, right?
Huh? What?
He was about to get run over by Clover's driving. Oh god, there's Alice. The burning gaze of the Nevada sun pounded down on her head. The desert around her rippled with heat. Standing there on that shimmering plain was a woman, her arm out and her thumb up. It would not be long before Junpei realized who she was. Okay. End. Click. Yep. Don't forget your towel. Got an achievement. Right. That was Zero Escape. Awesome. Oh, bombs. Alright, sorry, I just want to get to somewhere where there's not intense background noise. Oh, right guys, I mean, yeah, that was 999. The ending, yeah, I don't know, the June and Santa just kind of disappearing completely. And, you know, the way she kind of disappeared out of existence in the incinerator, unless I'm misremembering how that happened. Yeah, a little bit mysterious, but I don't mind a bit of mystery. Definitely not. Sorry, there was a cut in there. I got interrupted a couple of times, and then I just decided to stop recording just after I finished the puzzle in the incinerator. And this is like a few days later. Yeah, just sorry. But yeah, I guess you have to wonder what kind of, because obviously there's a time travel-ish kind of element to this. So whether we're in like a, I'm just going to do this moment occasionally so that the trailer doesn't start playing. Whether it's like a singular timeline kind of thing where things get altered, or whether it's like multiple universes or some sort of like amalgamation of the two. Definitely seems like there's some sort of merging here, right? Because like he was saying about 7 remembering what happened in the past, but unless Junpei was suggesting they were all in on the act, which I do think is a possibility. I do think every single person here could have been a stooge, and we were the only unknowing person here alongside the 4 horsemen, the 4 people, the 4 board members or controlling people from Cradle Pharmaceuticals. They obviously didn't know what was going on, but I feel like the other, 6 people? So June, Santa, 7 and Lotus, Snake and Clover very much could have all been in on it. But no, they couldn't have, no, because of the other endings, you know, with like Clover killing people and stuff, so yeah, no chance of that. Interesting that Alice showing all ice Alice showing up at the end there. That's strange. Now, I've only seen like a brief look, like when you load up the Nonary game, you get like the launcher, and Virtue's Last Reward is on the other side, and it has a picture of the characters there. So I don't know if she's involved in that game. But yeah, that has been 999. I mean, honestly, overall, I've had a really fun time. I've had a really, really great time. It's been, it's got lots of great elements to it, but I think I've been in the mood for this kind of game, particularly kind of after playing Bioshock, which was just kind of like non-stop moving. Whereas playing a game like this, there's no actual minute-to-minute gameplay. So I could just kind of kick back a bit and really focus on the characters and just enjoying that element of it. And I don't think any of the puzzles were like massively hard. Obviously, I struggled on a few of them, but I don't think any of them were like insanely difficult. So yeah, it was just really nice having that kind of pace. And overall, I think the game. I think your experience of the game does kind of depend on your proclivity for Japanese games or Japanese style games. I'm sort of middle ground with the character tropes in more typical Japanese style games. I would definitely say that a lot of the character archetypes are definitely are kind of typical of Japanese games in this. But I grew up playing a lot of Final Fantasy and stuff, so I'm sort of familiar with that. But I'd say on the channel, the only games that I've played where you see this stuff as well would be Nier Automata and the Final Fantasy VII remake. And yeah, so certain things there are certain things that I don't really get along with, sort of like the over sexualization of some of the female characters gets on my nerves a little bit, but you can get past that. And the kind of, even like at the end there, like the Junpei and Carney being very soppy and very mushy with each other was just always made me a bit uncomfortable. But I think once you can just kind of get past that kind of veneer a little bit, like I said about the way some of the female characters are drawn and some of the dialogue being a little bit hyperbolic, I'd say, then I think you can get into the plot's really enjoyable. All the characters have their own arcs that are really satisfying. There were lots of twists where, like thinking Santa was the evil one for a period of time. And it's shifting around, and everyone's experience of the game will be very different depending on the order of the paths that you do in the game. Like, I know one of you was talking to me in the comments about how Clover, if you experience the path where Clover kills everyone with the axe quite early on, then that changes your perception of her quite a bit. I didn't get that until much later, so I always saw her as like the person we need to take care of the most, because she was connected to really discovering some of the mysteries. Yeah, I think that the plot and the characters, it was all great fun, right? I think that I really enjoyed it being like a mix of some, the characters talking in a bit of a ludicrous way, but then it also being really engaging, and then also being a bit quite funny, and then also into the serious moments. And yeah, I think that it was a really good mix. I had a lot of fun. I liked taking it both seriously and not so seriously in certain moments. And yeah, it's just a really good time. I really enjoyed it. I think that my thoughts on the game are kind of spread throughout the playthrough with something like this. I don't think I necessarily need to go through everything. Because I think you guys have seen, I've just had a lot of fun. And yeah, I think that the plot, that was actually really cool. That kind of meta storyline element with the morphic field and us, the player, actually being kind of, the flow chart actually not just being a menu thing. It was actually quite integral to the whole thing in a like an immersive way. So I really enjoyed that element once I realized it and it got revealed. And yeah, it's just been great. I don't know if I really have any major complaints. Just like some of them, I think just some of the more typical Japanese character tropes can get on my nerves a little bit sometimes, but they're not massive issues. But overall, great plot, fun characters, great premise. I don't know. So in terms of, I think that there's obviously a second game. I think you guys have said that it's a trilogy. I don't even know what the third game is. I know that it's Virtue's Last Reward, which is the next title in the series. I'm very up for playing all of the next two games in this series. However, I'm not going to do it straight away because I'm kind of avoiding having like a singular series because I know that they're sequels and they're different games, but it's the same style. I just don't want to occupy the channel with that for 3 months or more. Because like when after playing Cyberpunk and Elden Ring kind of back to back, and I played Mass Effect Andromeda before that, those were huge games. They took up so much time, and while I loved those games, I just want to keep it a bit choppier. So I'm definitely up for doing it, but probably won't be for a couple of months for Virtue's Last Reward while I play other things. I'm gonna probably play the Cuphead DLC because I really want to play that, and I thought it might be cool to do on the channel. BioShock Infinite, and I'm probably gonna. I know that I've not really mentioned this, but I might give Hades a go because it looks really cool. So that's probably what I'm going to be playing in coming up in the next few days. But yeah, thanks for joining me on this journey, guys. Yeah, thanks for the recommendations. I don't know if I would have played this like without my channel. So I do really value experiences like this of games that I perhaps just wouldn't have played. Like, so think the games like Until Dawn, the Mass Effect trilogy, Subnautica, and this are all titles I just don't think I would have ever played if I wouldn't have had just the suggestions and the encouragement and the sort of community thing around playing these games that kind of pushed me towards playing them and really engage with the experience in a way that I might not otherwise have done. So thanks for the recommendations. You'll have to tell me what the third game is because I don't know. I try to avoid Google searches as much as possible. The only things I tend to Google search are posters so that I can make the thumbnail. Because, particularly when games are a bit older, Google searches throw up a lot of spoilers for older games. A lot. Newer games that have come out within the last 2-3 years tend to be a bit kinder, but for stuff like this, I guess this game's like 10 years old now, right? Or more. But yeah, awesome. Favorite character, 100% was 7. 7 was the best humor, best dress sense, best outfits. Yeah, he's definitely my favorite character, but I think everyone had an interesting arc except for the 9th man, but even he had his secrets, right? Yeah, before I finish, just have a little think back on all the characters because they're obviously the stars of the show. So Junpei, the main man, fluctuated between kind of complete airhead and sort of galaxy brain detective, right? Fluctuated between the two. He was a cool character. I think definitely in games like this, the main protagonist can run the risk of being a bit bland, where they have to ride the line between them being a conduit for the player and them being their own character. And I think that they rode that line well. Sometimes Junpei feels a bit blank canvassy, but other times he's got his own character. So yeah, it was a nice mix. And of course, his awful dress sense. I mean, I've never seen anything that bad. I mean, if he wouldn't have saved Carney's life with the morphic field stuff, then there's no way she would have gone for that. the goddamn blue pedal pushers, the gilet, the plaid shirt, just awful. Why would you combine those items? But yeah, I loved him. He was cool. June or Akane, just the voice actor was just so high pitched. It was a little bit grating at times. And every time she said Junpei, I felt a little bit of like my soul float away. It was really grating. But you know, she had a lot of mystery to her in a lot of ways, because you know she was Zero, right? And holding everything back, kind of the tragedy almost of her probably thinking that this might be her last few hours alive, right? If things went wrong, and they were for many of the endings until we kind of pieced it all together. Yeah, but she was really interesting. I really liked Clover. Once we got sort of into her more pragmatic side, where she was trying to solve things, she was really cool there. Snake was all right. Obviously very pretentious to the point where you would really feel like just giving him a little punch, even though he's blind. But you know, just giving him a little punch, just saying, you know, just chill out, mate. Just punch him on the arm or something, right? But yeah, he was cool. Santa had a lot of twists and turns. Quite a tortured soul, obviously. But he was actually really cool in the end. You know, Ace was cool as well as a character. Obviously done despicable things, but you know, he had that cool jacket. You know, that's a saving grace. But he had lots of different twists and turns, and I think one of the best things about the game is how you reflect on characters after you know more about them, right? And you maybe hear things that they've said again after you know more about them, and the perceptions change. So maybe that would have been maybe one thing to do with the game would be to actually fully play through sections again, so that you reinterpret stuff that's been said in a different light, rather than skipping through dialogue you've already seen. You can maybe interpret things a bit more. Maybe I should have done that at least once. But yeah, Ace was cool. Lots of cool twists and turns. 7 was my favorite. When he was just kind of acting like a bit of a brute, I think that did his character a little bit of a disservice. Maybe that was a bit of maybe they were trying to deceive the player a little bit with that. But you know, him as the detective, the savior of the kids 9 years ago, and the cool kind of dungarees and the fleece he had on, and the detective clothes he had on, he looked absolutely boss. But I really liked 7. Had some cool stories to share. Yeah, I feel like I've just forgotten someone. Oh yeah, Lotus. You know, like I said, yeah, there's always going to be 1 or 2 characters that are drawn that way, I feel, in some of these games. But Lotus was cool. You know, her being a hacker, and you know, she was always very dry, very sort of pragmatic, quite biting, but she had a lot of soul to her as well, I feel. I'm not sure whether the way she was dressed kind of messed with your perception in an unintentional way. It was a little tricky, that I didn't really know how to interpret her. Whether I don't know. She was, it was a bit hard. I think the first kind of third of the game, I'd kind of just dismissed her a little bit as a character, and then once we got a little bit more background information on her, I felt like the way she was drawn kind of really just didn't work. I wish she would have been drawn a bit differently, drawn a bit older. But anyway, yeah, that's been Zero Escape 999. I've had a great time. I will be back with Virtue's Last Reward at some point in the spring, I imagine. So watch out for that. I'll let you know when it's coming. Thanks for joining me on the journey, guys. I've had a great time. So if you did enjoy this video and this series, please leave me a thumbs up on the video. And just remember, everybody, never trust and uncrate. I'll see you next time.